comfort where you can be able to pursue your dream. That is the danger of Africa today. Today, you are called rebels. And once you are an enemy of the government of Malawi, you are an enemy of any other government, and you will be arrested. While you, our founding fathers, you had access, you had space, you had freedom in Zambia. You were not arrested. Apartheid government came there to bomb the Zambians, but you were made sure that you were safe. That was the spirit of Organization of Africa unit. We have run out of that spirit today. That is why we have xenophobia. That is why we have, let me not say xenophobia, let's say Afrophobia, because it is a black against black. The concept of Mwalimu Kambarage Julius Nyerere. He foresaw that Africans will soon be fighting themselves. When the occupiers have gone, when the colonizers have left, we will be fighting one another. And it's really happening. The word of Kambarage Nyerere has come to pass. Now, some people may look at the 55 voices as a voice of no reason, as a noise, of which it's my subject today. Yes, it's a noise because we don't have a blueprint. It's a noise because we don't speak the same language. It's a noise because we have no same agenda. Then it's a noise because Southern Sudan cannot have a voice to tell Europe. Southern Sudan will not have a voice to tell America. Southern Sudan has no way to tell China. And you know what? Southern Sudan don't have power to tell its own brother, Northern Sudan. Because after secession, they are no longer brothers and sisters. That is the problem of Africa. Now, we have the same in many, many African countries. We believe in extending our hand across the borders of Africa and forget to do the same next to our border. Many Africans want to be known, to be given accolades, and to be recognized by making friendship with Europe, America, and China, yet their own sister in Lesotho is not looked at. Yet their own brother in Kenya, they are not looked at. Yet their own brother, neighbor, Somalia, is not looked at. And that is our mistake because we tell these people, the Chinese, the Americans, and the Libyans, that we hate ourselves. And once they see that we hate one another, they say, hallelujah. It's time to oppress them, time to manipulate them, time to indoctrinate them, and time to make them divided. And it happens. That is why today we are failing to fight COVID-19 as a continent. Everyone is fighting alone, and you know, we are becoming stupid continent because what we believe is begging from China. Are we begging including masks? We have to be, that is a character of Africa. We believe in being given. So we are being given masks. And this continent has, from 1963 to date, we are talking about 57 years when Africa is totally free. We are so begging for cloth, materials, cloth that we can make mask to prevent coronavirus. And you will be surprised to see the president of a country in Africa signing an agreement to receive corona mask. What a shame for a continent. Don't we have our own tailors in Africa? Don't we have our own materials that can make masks in this continent? We do. Because if we didn't have, then China could not send their 50 million people in this continent. If we didn't have, Europeans could not continue staying in Africa because they know we have a potential in this continent that they don't have in Europe. But we have a problem. We lack an agenda. We don't have an agenda as a continent. We are completely out. This is why we move like wind. Today we'll be blowing this way, tomorrow we'll blow the other side. Yesterday we were with Europeans like this. Now I will tell you this, when Europeans realize that we are people who don't love ourselves, we are people who don't think about ourselves, we are people who lack foresight, they come and say, we have given you a lot of money, but this time, if we need more money, we give you more money, we need accountability. The books of accounts should show us what have you done. You know what? The Europeans realize that we are people who don't have vision. We are people who believe in pocketing, making names, and trying to expand ourselves and our families. We do forget about Africa. Then white people, the Europeans came and said, no more. We gave you, instead of developing Africa, you gave us back to bank for you, personally, individually now, in ease of mind, in Virgin Islands, in British accounts, in American accounts, in Mexican accounts. You don't have any audacity to develop your own continent. And you know what? Each and every president that I have known in Africa, all their monies, all their wealth, they are not in Africa, they are outside the continent. And that is our problem, Africans. That is our stupidity, because we believe in the worth of a paper. I am rich, I'm a billionaire on the paper. But in my continent, in my wardrobe, in my house where I sleep, I'm sleeping a poorest life. My neighbors, my family don't have anything. That's our biggest problem. Now, when the whites realize that we are stupid, they give us money and we give them back to keep it in our accounts personally, because they were giving us a country, and knowing that we cannot develop our countries, we steal that money and give back to their accounts. They came back and say, no, you are so stupid people. Your continent was supposed to be so poor the way it is now. Your continent was not supposed to be this poor, this vulnerable. Now, when we give you more, we need accountability. And that angered Africa. Accountability. What is accountability? Let's leave these white people, because they have molested so much, they have abused us. Now go to China. Because China, according to their language, according to their style and their traditions, they don't know anything about accountability. And it's a new love between Africa and China. There will be no more many questions, because they don't know our fault and we don't know their fault. So we just need to keep this love. What happens? Drums of money is what matters. They give us drums of yuans. And that's what matters, without looking at our traditions and culture. Why? We are afraid of our actions. That's why we run away from the West. Because the Western have realized that we are people who are gullible on money. We are gullible over money. When we are given money that's supposed to build a hospital, we are going to build a clinic. 60% that could make the hospital, we pocket it. And we don't have pockets, as I can say, not even bank accounts. We say, you have bank accounts there. Can you keep this 70% of my money there? This time, in my name. Now, the whites have studied us. The Westerners have studied us and realized that we are not enough in our senses. That's why they come and say, if we are giving more aid, it has to be accountable. And we want to make sure that it is doing what is supposed to be. Now, Africans, the citizens, we are so stupid because we listen to our leaders. And our leaders are very clever. When they are signing these agreements, bilateral, multilateral, whatever agreements they sign, we are not told. We just hear there's a state visit by the president to UK, there's a state visit by the president to America, there's a state visit by the president to Germany. When they come there, they will tell us that we are going to build A, B, C, a lot of projects. Where did you get the money? They will not tell us. And most of those projects don't materialize. And that is the culture of Africa. From one president to another, from one government to another, from one power to another, we live with those lies. I'll tell you this, development of Africa. Today, many Western countries, they are asking two questions before they land in Africa. The question is, are we going to find better roads? The answer is no. Are we going to find facilities that are conducive for humanity? The answer is no. The question comes, why is Africa having no infrastructure, yet they have received a lot of billions and trillions of British pounds, American dollars, and euros? The answer is simple. Money is pocketed and banked back to Europe, banked back to America, banked back in foreign accounts. The most painful thing is, these leaders, when they die, they are buried in Africa. And when they are buried, all the protocols of finances, no one will sign. The money remains in Europe. The money remains in London. The money remains in America. The money remains there. And we are talking about properties. I was given there was a kind of expose at Intel that one minister was talking to me about one country in Africa. That there is a lot of money that politicians have banked outside Africa. And you know, these people are very intelligent, politicians. When they see that their government is failing, they make sure the new government that is coming, they will support it so that they will not be looked at or maybe traced on this evil that they have committed. Today, many African countries and their politicians, they don't have investments in their countries. They have invested in foreign countries. Mauritius, Rwanda, Isle of Man, Australia, Portugal. But ask them, where are they? They are in their countries. We have former presidents in Malawi. They are living in Malawi, but their businesses are outside Malawi. They buy expensive cars that do not even see a pothole. A V10, V8, X, VX. They don't mind about the potholes that they are going to drive in those poor countries like Malawi. Why? Because they don't mind. When they want to enjoy life, they will have a sabbatical leave for a year in London, for a year in Kigali, for a year in Mauritius, for a year in America, for a year in Hong Kong, for a year in Singapore. Robert Mugabe, one example. He died in Singapore. After losing elections, he stayed there until the time that he died. He rarely lived in Zimbabwe. Why? Facilities are not in that country. Now let's find out how much money he had accumulated after 31 years of leadership in Zimbabwe. Billions. Let's get into Zimbabwe today. Let's look at the economy and the living standards of people. Zimbabwe has a history that it will take another 20 years to come back to the picture it had in 1980. To get back to the image that it had in 1985. In other words, no hope for Zimbabwe anymore. But you know what? Governments are still there learning. But there is a trend that will never stop if we cannot